Hello and welcome to What the F Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Monday, December 21st, 2020. Welcome to day 1432. Trump discussed appointing Sidney Powell, a lawyer who promoted conspiracy theories about rigged voting machines, as a special counsel to investigate non-existent voter fraud. In a heated meeting in the Oval Office, Trump met with Sidney Powell, her client, Michael Flynn, White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, and White House counsel Pat Cipollone. Rudy Giuliani participated in the meeting over the phone. The meeting reportedly broke out into a screaming match as Meadows and Cipollone pushed back on Powell and Flynn's suggestions for overturning the election, while Powell accused Trump's advisors of being quitters. Among the ideas discussed was Flynn's earlier suggestion that Trump impose martial law and deploy the military to rerun the election. Giuliani separately called the Department of Homeland Security's Ken Cuccinelli and asked if it was possible for DHS to seize voting machines. Cuccinelli told Giuliani that DHS does not have that authority. Trump also asked Powell about getting a security clearance to pursue her work. While Trump later dismissed reports of the martial law discussion as fake news on Twitter, Trump had previously urged Attorney General William Barr to appoint a special counsel to look into election fraud and another one to investigate Hunter Biden. Barr, however, says he is unwilling to do what Trump wanted and later announced his resignation. Barr also said that he saw no basis now for seizing voting machines and that he would not appoint a special counsel to investigate allegations of voter fraud. Barr said that while he was sure there was fraud in this election, there was no evidence that was so systemic or broad-based that it would change the result. Barr added, "If I thought a special counsel at this stage was the right tool and was appropriate, I would name one, but I haven't and I'm not going to." Barr made the comments during his final public appearance. Meanwhile, the Trump campaign filed a petition with the Supreme Court to overturn 3 separate Pennsylvania Supreme Court decisions related to mail-in ballots. Trump's campaign asked the court to reject 2.6 million mail-in ballots and to allow the Pennsylvania General Assembly to pick its own slate of electors. Overturning the Pennsylvania results, however, would not change the outcome of the election. Even if Biden somehow lost the state's 20 electoral votes, he would still have 286 votes remaining. Moving on, Attorney General William Barr and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo both blamed the Russians for the SolarWinds hack that compromised at least a half-dozen federal agencies. On Saturday, Pompeo said that they can pretty clearly say that it was the Russians behind the hack of the federal government. Hours later, Trump, however, tweeted that it may be China, it may, not Russia, saying everything is well under control, while insisting that the lamestream news media had exaggerated the hack. And he suggested without evidence that the real issue was whether the election results had been compromised. But on Monday, Barr said that from the information he has, he agrees with Secretary Pompeo's assessment that it certainly appears to be the Russians behind the hack. Back in D.C., Congress reached an agreement on a $900 billion coronavirus stimulus package. The agreement includes $600 stimulus checks per adult and child, along with $300 per week in enhanced unemployment benefits for 11 weeks, $319 billion for small businesses, including $284 billion for Paycheck Protection Program loans, $20 billion in EIDL grants, $69 billion for testing and vaccine distribution, $82 billion in funding for colleges and schools, and $15 billion for live venues, independent movie theaters, and cultural institutions. More than $13 billion in food assistance is also included in the bill. The package excludes liability protection from COVID-19 related lawsuits for businesses and universities and doesn't include any money for states and localities for Medicare. The relief package does, however, include a tax break for corporate meal expenses, which was pushed by the White House, referred to as the 3-martini lunch deduction by critics, as a way to revive the restaurant industry during the pandemic. Both the House and the Senate plan to pass the stimulus bill by midnight, which will be paired with a year-end spending measure, coming in just before the latest government funding deadline hits. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is weighing legal immunity for Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in a federal lawsuit accusing him of ordering the assassination attempt against a former top intelligence officer. The Saudi government asked to shield the prince from liability in response to a complaint brought by a former Saudi counterterrorism leader and longtime U.S. intelligence ally now living in exile in Canada, who could disclose damaging secrets about the prince's rise to power. And finally, Trump signed an executive order that requires beautiful architecture as the preferred style for federal buildings. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditas.